Welcome back to the See It in Action demo series. Today we are going to show you how to migrate your VMware virtual machines to Proxmox Virtual Environment with Cirrus Migrate Cloud. For this demo, I have a Windows 2016 SMB machine here running on a VMware server as our migration source, with 8 GB of memory and 2 CPUs, 3 disks, 1 20 gig boot drive, and 2 1 gig drives. From our device manager, we have all the storage controllers and drivers that VMware uses, but later on, you will see them automatically configure and set up all the KVM drivers needed. Note that our migration source can be any environment and any block storage solution, whether physical or virtual, across any hypervisor, private cloud, or public cloud platform. Most importantly, we can migrate VMs with RDMs or environments where hypervisor snapshot is not desirable since we don't rely on any hypervisor-specific capability. CMC does not actually care what environment your source host is running on. Even older versions of virtual machines from other VMware environments that do not support native migration can be seamlessly migrated using Cirrus Migrate Cloud. Connecting to it, I can see that this is a 2016 Windows server running on VMware with an Intel CPU. Under disk management, we can see the same 20 gig boot drive and 1 gig E and H drives, and all of them are VMware VMDKs. We are migrating from VMware for this demo. Next up, for the destination, we will be migrating to our Proxmox environment. It's worth noting that this same process works identically with Cirrus Data Cloud Private Edition for organizations requiring the Cirrus Data Cloud control plane to be private. In this data center that we've prepared, it has a very simple setup with 2 existing storage, local and local LVM. And we have a network bridge called Bridge 0. We are now migrating our Windows machine to run on the Proxmox VE. Let's start by going to Cirrus Data Cloud. First, I am going to deploy Cirrus Migrate Cloud on my host by copying the installation command and pasting it in the shell. CMC will install and register to Cirrus Data Cloud all by itself. This same installation command can be used on as many hosts as you want, so you are free to use any automation mechanism of your choice to deploy Cirrus Migrate Cloud at scale. The migration process of Linux hosts is more or less identical, and all you need is to install with a different installation command. Our Windows 2016 SMB host is now displayed on the registered host list, meaning that the installation is completed. And we can see the 1 gig data drives and the 20 gigabyte boot drive, the CEH drives here under our registered host details, which is the same as what I had here.
Before we continue with the next steps, let's briefly look at MigrateOps. That is a purpose-built data mobility as code automation platform that is designed to make data migration in enterprise scale easier, safer, and more predictable. This is an automation platform that optimizes global data mobility beyond just storage to storage data migration, thanks to the flexible automation capabilities that work with your operating system, applications, or even cloud infrastructures. It enables seamless chaining of functionalities with other automations that are often managed externally, such as OS automation, application automation, public and private cloud platform automation, virtualization platform automation, enterprise storage management automation, SAN management automation. Normally, we would come here to create migration sessions manually, but for this scenario, we will use MigrateOps. Let's take a closer look.
Now, I want to show you the purpose-built MigrateOps recipes for all the scenarios you need. I am going to use this new Compute Migration to Proxmox Virtual Environment recipe for this demo. From here, I am able to view a complete guide and configuration reference for detailed instructions to operate MigrateOps for migration to Proxmox. There are a few important aspects to note. First, it is possible that we can customize our compute specifications, giving us precise control over our destination VM configuration. These options are always optional since, if not specified, we will automatically match the configuration with the source host. One particular option I would like to point out is the need for a CMC Helper. This is a temporary VM that is automatically deployed on the Proxmox environment by Cirrus Data Cloud to assist in the migration process. You don't need to worry about deploying or managing this, since the system handles everything automatically by itself. All you need to do is import the CMC Helper VM image into your Proxmox environment once. Most importantly, your data always stays within your 4 walls. It comes directly from the source and never leaves your data center, ensuring complete security throughout the process. For the Helper VM image, we'll need to upload an image to Proxmox. Let me show you. We come to our Proxmox Virtual Environment and go to Import. We'll click on Download from URL to create a new image. We'll use the image provided by Cirrus Data Cloud and give it a name. Since based on our recipe reference, this is default to CMC Helper VM, but you can change it. The system will automatically upload and configure the helper image. It's important to note that you only have to perform this upload action once, no matter how many migrations you have. This helper image can be reused for all your future migrations. The CMC Helper VM Image is now available. Moving down the list, there is an option for us to configure network settings that will be assigned to the new VM after we complete the migration. We will have to put in the network bridge, which we can access from here on our Proxmox, and we are using this VM Bridge 0 in our case. Once again, most of these configuration options are optional. Therefore, if not specified, default configuration will be used. There are lots of customizable settings, one including the ability to configure custom actions. You can automatically install packages, uninstall legacy software, start or stop services, and modernize your applications as part of the automated workflow. This ensures your applications are optimized for Proxmox from day one. And now let me set up the integration for the next step of this demo. Under Hypervisors or private cloud integrations, you can find the Proxmox integration. I will proceed to add this integration with a name, which I'll call JA Proxmox 84, the Proxmox environment host address, username, and password. You only need to do this once, no matter how many VMs you need to migrate. Now that I have CMC installed and the integration ready, let's move on to create a new migration operation. In this scenario, I am migrating this Windows 2016 SMB, and I am using this ST Ubuntu 01 as my access node because we need another node within the same network to access your Proxmox environment locally, so even your metadata management traffic stays within your secured environment. It can be any Windows or Linux host or any of your source host. Next, I will drag my configuration file right into MigrateOps. Like many other industry-standard automation tools, our configuration is in YAML syntax. While I am showing you this, it is worth noting that you can also submit this same configuration programmatically through our REST API. With a single API call to our batch create endpoint, you can submit the configuration to launch migrations, whether it's one VM or hundreds at scale. This single batch API also allows your entire migration workflow to be easily executed by AI agents. For this demo, I already have a YAML file prepared. If you don't have a YAML file ready, you can use our configuration builder right here from the MigrateOps reference. Simply fill in the form fields, your host name, integration, compute specifications, storage settings, and network configuration. And MigrateOps will automatically generate the proper YAML for you. You can then save it for reuse or modify it as needed. This makes it easy to get started even if you're not familiar with YAML syntax. And of course, while I am creating the configuration, I can always come back to the MigrateOps reference to apply all the fields we need. Let me show you how it's done. I am providing an operation name, the recipe that I am using, which I can find the recipe ID from here. The specified host name and integration name that we have set up earlier, and this is our system name. Here is my access node, ST Ubuntu 2001. For our compute configuration, we can specify, but we're maintaining the same specifications from our source VM. 8 GB of memory and 2 CPUs with 2 cores and 1 socket, giving us precise control over our destination virtual machine specifications. For the destination, we are using the default configuration with the local LVM storage. As for network configuration, we're using the VM Bridge 0 for the network bridge as mentioned before, and we have the option to configure and assign a static IP address to the final VM. If not specified, DHCP configuration will be used automatically. Cirrus Data offers a comprehensive range of MigrateOps recipes, supporting migrations from a variety of environments. No matter which platform or storage you are migrating to or migrating from, the process is more or less similar. This is the completed configuration. Note that this is just for one host. You can add as many hosts as you want into your configuration. But for now, let's keep it simple and submit this configuration for this demo. The migration operation has started. Once I enter this newly created operation, I can view all the details. The operation has already identified the access node with all these messages, and it has also validated the compute, storage, and network configuration. This is going quickly. Next, it has created the migration instance. It detected the specifications from our source VM and is applying our selected specifications while maintaining other configurations. Moving on, our virtual machine has been created, And we can already find the MigrateOps instance running here on Proxmox. Data goes directly from my source VM to this VM. So again, nothing comes to our cloud as the data never leaves your data center and always stays within your four walls. It is a direct, optimized, and encrypted channel. Moving forward, the Proxmox instance is deployed and registered with Cirrus Data Cloud. The H2H connection is created so that we have a secure data transfer. This is the direct connection from our host to our temporary host. The H2H connection capability also supports reverse migration scenarios, meaning you can easily migrate back from Proxmox to your original environment or any other target if needed. This bidirectional capability provides you with complete flexibility and acts as a safety net for your migration projects. The destination virtual disk storage is prepared. From here, we have already created the 3 drives, the 20 gig, 1 gig, 1 gig drives on the Proxmox environment, and it is identical to what we had here. A migration session is created, and data is synchronizing. Let's go and look at the migration session details. The CEH drives are migrating from VMware to the Proxmox environment. Watch this perfect demonstration of our intelligent quality of service. When production I/O spikes in the top chart, the migration I/O in the bottom chart automatically yields to production workloads. The moment production activity subsides, migration intelligently ramps back up, ensuring minimal business impact while maximizing migration efficiency. This is powered by our intelligent quality of service technology. If you want to know more about how iQoS works, we have a video from our YouTube channel that explains it with a perfect highway speed limit analogy. The key takeaway is that we read the road conditions in real time, not the clock, making sure we can migrate as far as we can without impact. We can track the progress with the change data map. The dirty blocks here show that this is a live migration and it will eventually be completed. We can also find the thin data ratio alongside all other migration information we need. When I go back to the migration operation, this is now at a waiting stage. Upon reaching this stage, we will receive an email notification, and we can optionally set up an approval window if we decide to start cutover later. But let me just approve it right now for the demo. Once approved, the operation will proceed the rest of the steps. MigrateOps has then prepared compute cutover, where it configured the system to ensure that it had all essential drivers enabled and necessary configurations for our Proxmox instance based on best practices. Additionally, Cirrus Migrate Cloud automatically installs the QEMU guest agent and configures all drivers to the KVM drivers needed for optimal performance. The operation has proceeded further. Now, I have this migration report generated where I can always come back to the reports and view all the detailed information about this migration. As until now, my Windows environment remains live, and the source VM is also still active until we complete the migration session. And these are the drives connected to the temporary migration VM in Proxmox. Less than a minute later, from our vSphere client, we can see that CMC has shut down the source system to get ready for final transition to the Proxmox instance. Moving forward, it is powering off our temporary instance and making all the necessary adjustments. The process is automated. Looking at our storage volumes, all the temporary volumes are gone, including the previous root disk. And now, the 20 GB boot drive and the 2 1 GB data drives are mapping to our final machine. Once everything turns green, the cutover process is done and the migration operation is completed. Looking at Proxmox, we can see that our final instance is ready and our MigrateOps temporary VM is cleaned up. It is running with the same name as our original VMware, which is now powered off. Let's take a deeper look at the details. It now has the same 8 GB of memory and 2 CPUs with 2 cores and 1 socket. More importantly, we can see our IP address, and Cirrus Migrate Cloud has automatically installed the guest agent for us without any hassle. Now, while this demo focused on migrating a Windows machine, it's important to highlight that Cirrus Migrate Cloud provides identical functionality for Linux systems. Regardless of your source operating system, the migration process remains consistent and automated. Let me launch the console. My new machine has booted up properly. In the system information, we can see that this is now the same Windows 2016 server running as a KVM machine with the specifications matching our configuration. From the disk management, my 20 gig C drive and the 1 gig EH data drives are all replicated. Since CMC automatically configured the Proxmox virtual drivers for optimal performance, we have successfully got the Windows 2016 server running on Proxmox Virtual Environment.
Let's have a quick summary of what we did. First, we installed CMC on our host. If you are going with any Linux hosts, the entire migration process is identical. You will just need to use a different installation command when we register. Then after that, we have set up the Proxmox Virtual Environment integration. For organizations requiring enhanced security, Cirrus Data Cloud also offers a private edition with self-hosted deployment and complete control over your data management environment. Remember, our migration source can be any environment and any block storage solution, whether physical or virtual, across any hypervisor, private cloud, or public cloud platform. Most importantly, we can handle VMs with RDMs or environments where hypervisor snapshot is not desirable, since we don't rely on any hypervisor-specific capability. The H2H connection also supports reverse migration scenarios, meaning you can easily migrate back from Proxmox to your original environment if needed, providing complete flexibility. Once I created the YAML configuration and submitted it, Cirrus Data Cloud automated everything else. We basically created a YAML file, submitted it, and Cirrus Data Cloud migrated my Windows server from VMware to Proxmox Virtual Environment automatically. Without any manual interaction, everything is running optimized for Proxmox with proper drivers and configurations. This is how you migrate to Proxmox Virtual Environment with Cirrus Migrate Cloud.